This is Valley News Live at 6.
Before leaving office, President Donald Trump granted clemency to a Moorhead woman convicted and imprisoned on drug charges.
Trump commuted the sentence of 46-year-old Cassandra Ann Kosowski of Moorhead, who has served more than 7 years of an 18-year penalty for conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute and distribution of controlled substances. This was among more than 140 pardons and commutations expected to have been issued by President Trump.
While much of the pomp and circumstance took place in Washington, D.C., people here in Fargo marched in solidarity. It was one of many demonstrations today around the nation to coincide with the inauguration of President Joe Biden.
Valley News Team's Courtney Lockey walked along with the group today and joins us with the details. Courtney?
Thanks, Mike and Andrew. We just got back to Island Park. It's been a long march today. I think we started here at 4 o'clock and we are just leaving. A couple people are still hanging around to talk, but we made our way to the courthouse, Senator John Hoeven's office, City Hall, and all the way back here. Now, a lot of the things, this is one of those solidarity marches, but they're asking for something different than we haven't heard in the past. You know, they're asking for rent gouging and to help people with eviction. They're asking for leaders to enforce masks. They're asking for help with health care during the coronavirus, calling for help with climate change and the pipeline, all of these things, but we will let you hear from them tonight later at 10 o'clock. So we're going to go talk to them and send it back for now, but live in Fargo, Courtney Lockey, Valley News Live.
All right, thanks, Courtney. We'll continue our presidential inauguration coverage in just about 15 minutes.
The roller coaster ride in our weather headed upward today in a very noticeable way. It was sure nice to see the melting. Let's check in with Hutch to find out if tonight will be enjoyable as well. Hutch.
Thanks so much, Andrea. Temperatures have really boosted up there. As we talked about last night, we've seen temperatures right now 35 degrees warmer than they were yesterday at this time. The winds have really picked up in the latter half of our day with gusts to 60 miles per hour in the James River Valley, Valley City at 59 mile per hour gusts. Look at Grafton, a 48 mile per hour gust there. Temperatures remain in the 30s for all areas with the exception of a few South Dakota 40s. Some snow showers are working their way through northwest Minnesota. Not showing up great on the radar, but a few of those are out there as we head into your evening. Planner shows our winds will subside a bit, but we expect to remain pretty gusty here in Fargo as temperatures slip back into the 30s. 20s by bedtime tonight in Grand Forks, and even colder air is set to return for tomorrow. I'll have details on just how cold the things get on your Thursday here in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Hutch, thank you.
Authorities in Griggs County are asking for your help tonight after someone vandalized the Cooperstown Bible Camp Monday night. They also burned one of the camp's cabins. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley spoke exclusively with the camp today, which says they're just glad no one was staying there at the time.
There's a lot more to be thankful for than to be stewed in anger over the stupidity or the ignorance of someone who had nothing better to do on a Monday night.
Adam Glombowski says he and his wife returned home just after 9 Monday night to find fresh car tracks throughout the camp's property.
So we started driving around, came back through here. My wife saw the damage on the outside. Then I opened the door and just a plume of smoke came out.
Glombowski says while there was no longer an active fire inside the Nazareth cabin, the damage was already done.
They pulled the mattress down from the top bunk and put it on the bottom. And then that's where the fire started, and it just spread from there. And so this whole building is going to have to be gutted, and we got to do it soon. So we got retreats, we got summer camp coming up too.
The number one question, not only for the Griggs County Sheriff's Office, but the rest of the community, why the Bible camp?
I'd love to be able to answer that question. No idea.
With several retreats planned at the camp in the coming weeks, including this weekend, Glombowski says he knows it could have been much worse.
The human side of me, yeah, I want to be angry about it, but you know, it's a building. We could have had far more damage. Thank God we didn't have more damage than we had. And that's the big thing too, is it happened while no one was here.
Adding the actions of those involved isn't going to stop the camp from moving forward, saying they're determined now more than ever to continue their mission to make Jesus known. In Cooperstown, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Set it on there, or if there's
Glombowski says cameras for the camp are already on their way and says it's still unknown how much it's going to cost to repair the cabin and everything inside. Now, if you'd like to help out and donate to the Cooperstown Bible Camp, you can find the link on our VNL News app. Just click on this story.
A man is in jail after police say they found him sleeping in a vehicle with a sawed-off shotgun and drugs. Officers were patrolling in the 2500 block of 8th Street North in Fargo around 5 this morning when they saw Danny Shelvin passed out in the driver's seat of a running vehicle. Shelvin was arrested for several violations, and since he's a felon, he wasn't supposed to have a firearm.
2 shipments of roofing materials were seized at a Pembina port of entry. They were in violation of intellectual property rights regulations. Border officials seized more than 2,500 rolls of these materials last Friday, and if they were genuine, it would have been worth more than $265,000.
The Fargo Police Department is urging parents to talk to their kids about pedestrian safety after 2 kids were hit by a car. The first incident happened before 8 this morning in the 2500 block of 36th Avenue South. The other incident happened about a half hour later in the 2400 block of 17th Street South. The drivers reported the children were either in the roadway or had run out into the road from behind parked cars. The kids were not seriously hurt and no citations were issued.
There were a few rollover crashes reported in our area today. 2 vehicles were involved in a crash at around 10 this morning on Highway 59 at Mahnomen County Road 10. A pickup driven by 67-year-old Deborah Ann Norton was heading north when it hit the back of a Toyota. That Toyota spun out of the lanes and the pickup ended up rolling into the ditch. Norton was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The driver of the Toyota, 59-year-old Daniel Simon, was not injured. The roads were icy at the time of that crash.
And another rollover sent a 65-year-old man to the hospital. It happened this morning on I-94 in Otter Tail County. Investigators say Anthony Boyes was heading west when his vehicle began to fishtail. It went into a ditch on the left shoulder and rolled before coming to a stop on its roof. Boyes has injuries that are not life-threatening.
And a 49-year-old woman was also involved in a rollover. It happened before 10 this morning on I-94 west of Valley City. Authorities say the woman was traveling westbound toward Jamestown. She lost control of her Buick. It overturned and crossed the eastbound lanes. No word on the extent of her injuries, but she wasn't wearing her seatbelt.
Later on Valley News Live at 6, we'll recap history in the making with today's inauguration of President Joe Biden.
Many across the valley enjoying upper 30s today. That morning was beautiful. Then the wind this afternoon really picked up. Details about north winds and cold air returning coming up next.